Pressure mounts on the Premier tonight. Parliament erupts. Gladys Berejiklian faces the fallout over her secret romance scandal. Still, she refuses to quit while the corruption inquiry takes a new twist. COVID cases spike, a testing rush in Sydney southwest. Tonight, some good news with rules relaxed for outdoor events. The gruesome attack in Campsie, an axe-wielding cyclist charged. Ready in weeks bypassing Sydney's worst bottleneck, the new North Connects tunnel to finally open. Getting his groove back, Donald Trump's rally return, COVID-free and promising to kiss the crowd. Holiday here this year, the new local tourism push. And a big finals inclusion as the last four all say the premiership is ours.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. A defiant Gladys Berejiklian is standing firm tonight, refusing to quit despite the intense pressure over her explosive revelations. She had a secret relationship with a former MP accused of corruption. The Premier has been accused of turning a blind eye to Daryl Maguire's alleged shady deals. She has continued to deny she misled the ICAC.
After what she described as one of the most difficult days of her life,
Premier, how are you feeling this morning?
Gladys Berejiklian leaves home to confront her team.
Do you have the support of the Liberal Party room?
Have a lovely day.
Outside Parliament,
she's a fantastic leader and she'll continue to be the Premier.
all colleagues express support except one, rebel right-wing Liberal Matthew Mason Cox.
The government's had a terrible day yesterday with the Premier, and I think we really seriously now need to look at the next steps.
The Premier arriving for the Liberal Party room meeting, asking for forgiveness and apologising for the hurt and embarrassment yesterday's revelations caused the government.
I don't blame my colleagues for feeling shocked and disappointed, I would.
But key Conservative and moderate Liberals are standing by her.
Absolutely. Great Premier, doing a great job.
Do you really think Gladys Berejiklian will still be Premier of New South Wales by this Friday?
Absolutely. And she's got no reason to go anywhere.
The Prime Minister agrees.
Gladys has been a tremendous Premier and she has my absolute support. And guarantee you one thing, Gladys is someone who keeps on keeping on.
The Premier denying she misled the ICAC about when her secret relationship started.
You were in a close personal relationship with Mr Maguire from at least about the time of the 2015 election.
Or slightly after, thereabouts.
The election was in March that year, but text messages between the pair revealed yesterday were from February 2014, 13 months earlier. In them, Mr Maguire uses his pet name for the Premier, Hawkes, to boast about getting a commission on a property deal. Did you mislead ICAC?
It is a very subjective and personal thing as to when you think something changed from a friendship to a close personal relationship, and I provided information to the best of my recollection.
Her relationship with Mr Maguire not rating a mention in a radio interview the day before last year's election.
Does Gladys have a boyfriend or a husband?
No. No boyfriend on the scene?
No.
Yesterday, the Premier also said Daryl Maguire would have been able to lobby for his own personal interests if those interests were declared.
So they're not my rules, they're the rules of the Parliament.
But they're not the rules. The MP's Code of Conduct says they must not knowingly and improperly promote any matter in return for any remuneration of a private nature, and must not knowingly and improperly use their influence to seek to effect a decision by a public official to further the private interests of the member. Is it still your position you declared and stated yesterday?
No. No.
And you are aware that that is exactly what Daryl Maguire was trying to do. In phone taps yesterday, Mr Maguire told the Premier commissions on a land deal at the Western Sydney Airport site would help wipe out his debts.
We've done our deal, so hopefully that's about half of all that gone now.
That's good. I don't need to know about that bit.
No, you don't.
I was absolutely not aware, which is why I didn't report anything.
He told you in phone conversations that the people in your offices...
Told you on the call.
Labor moving a no-confidence motion in the Premier.
She turned a blind eye to corruption in her government.
As question time erupted.
It is your legal responsibility. Why did you not act?
At all times, I've acted in accordance with the highest levels of accountability.
Order!
You think if you say it, it will be true.
Leader of the opposition.
I say to those opposite, you are in the cabinet room with people found to be corrupt. You are in.
The opposition, One Nation and now the Greens calling for Gladys Berejiklian to stand down.
Stand aside, at least until ICAC has delivered its reports.
Look, the inquiry's into Mr Maguire and nobody else, and that's what the ICAC is looking at.
And Alex Hart is at State Parliament this evening. Alex, Darryl Maguire will appear at the ICAC tomorrow. Should the Premier be worried?
Well, Mark, Gladys Berejiklian says she has no concerns whatsoever, but not because she's been given any assurances from Mr Maguire about what he might say. The Premier says they've had no contact since she took the stand yesterday. But as we saw yesterday, the ICAC is full of surprises. And while the Premier might not be worried, certainly some of her colleagues are. Factional enemies are standing by her for now, but I can tell you some, after today, are starting to question publicly her public statements and her conduct in relation to this issue. And if there are any further damaging revelations about what she did know and did or didn't do tomorrow, I'm told it will set the leadership issue alight. Mark.
Alex Hart on Macquarie Street. Thank you. At the ICAC inquiry today, one of Darryl Maguire's former associates broke down in tears after admitting she lied at a previous hearing. Maggie Wang confessing she gave false or misleading evidence, but claims she's now telling the truth.
Not long after Darryl Maguire was forced to quit Parliament in disgrace, he met Maggie Wang in a Sydney cafe. She testified Maguire told her his personal devices had been destroyed in a paddock.
He said something like, there's been an unfortunate accident where my phone and iPad have been, run over by a tractor?
Something like that.
But in phone taps played today, the then Wagga MP and Wang discuss overseas oil technology gaining a foothold in Australia. Mr Maguire suggests charging a consultancy fee of $100,000 plus a share of profits.
3%, you know what? 3% of whatever it is, and when you're talking oil, you're talking big money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before allegedly discussing a 50-50 split.
We'll do like we always do, all right?
Yeah.
Blood brothers and sisters.
In the phone tap, Darryl Maguire described his plan to assist the oil company deal as hitting the jackpot. Maggie Wang says it was meant to fund his retirement from politics, but the arrangement never happened. It was a gruelling day for Ms Wang, who broke down as she admitted previously lying to the ICAC.
Because I was panicked, I was ashamed.
But subsequent evidence, she said, had been truthful.
Does that mean you decided to tell the truth because you didn't think you could get away with lying anymore?
Then this.
Sorry.
Miss Wang, there's some water.
Sorry, thanks.
There's some water there if you want some, and some tissues.
That concluded Ms Wang's evidence. It will be Mr Maguire's turn tomorrow. Chris Marr, 7 News.
This Friday night is shaping up to be very busy, with Sydney pubs and restaurants allowed to double their outside capacity. But the decision to wind back restrictions comes as local case numbers are surging and more pop-up clinics are appearing by the day.
Lining up in Lakemba.
This area is getting a lot of COVID cases, so I thought it's just better to get tested.
A pop-up COVID testing centre erected a day after 2 doctors tested positive at a local practice. Shaimin Mustafa was a patient there, now he's here.
A little bit nervous because I don't know if I got positive or negative.
Of course, everyone's alarmed. We don't want to hear these stories, but the reality is we're not over this yet.
Particularly in the southwest, responsible for all 7 local cases today, 2 revealed yesterday, the doctors from Lakemba, the remaining 5 from a single household. They provide a crucial connection to 4 separate cases, including a nurse from St Vincent's Hospital and a cluster of 5 people linked to Liverpool Hospital.
This means 14 people reported between 8th of October and today are now linked.
Now the tracing intensifies. One of the new cases visited Oran Park's Great Beginnings Childcare Centre 4 times. Another, a disability support worker who attended 3 small group homes.
Contact tracing and urgent testing is underway.
The latest round of venues at risk include the Oran Park Woolworths at these times, along with these businesses in Sydney's southwest from the 2nd to 7th of October. IKEA Tempe rounding out the list. Despite the recent spike in local cases, the state government announced today that it's moving ahead with the easing of some restrictions this week. From Friday, venues can double the number of patrons sitting outside with a new 2 square metre rule instead of 4.
So long as there is an electronic QR code. Indoors still remains at 4 square metres.
Capacity will be increased at outdoor concerts too, with 500 people allowed if they're seated. Amelia Brace, 7 News.
Johnson & Johnson has stopped its COVID vaccine trial for now after a volunteer became sick. The company began phase 3 trials last month, and while it hasn't revealed what symptoms the patient has, the company says side effects are an expected part. Oxford resumed its trials after a similar pause. A cyclist has been accused of biting off a barber's finger after threatening him with 2 axes during a terrifying attack in Campsie. Clutching his bleeding hand, the victim and his friends chased the armed man, tackling him before anyone else could be hurt.
A casual stroll down a Campsie street after a random rampage with 2 axes.
Turn around, come!
Minutes earlier on Sunday, Bradley Howard had a heated exchange with Mohammed Al-Khalafawi after he was almost knocked off his bike when the local barber opened his car door.
He got off from the bicycle and he started to punch me. I started to defend myself and then we pushed him over and he left.
But he returned.
Started running around like a psycho, screaming out, I'm going to kill everyone.
The barber, his nephew and a customer tried to stop him, but Mr Al-Khalafawi's finger was bitten by the armed man, his nephew's arm broken, and Howard again took off.
Very painful too, because this is all the bone is gone, all the finger is cut off.
Still, they refuse to give up.
Despite bleeding heavily and the tip of his finger gone, Mr Al-Khalafawi managed to help his nephew and a customer take down the suspect in this car park. They kept him pinned on the ground until police arrived.
I have it in my mind, I want to take off the X from him.
Facing court today, the accused attacker revealed he was drunk at the time and hasn't committed an offence in 16 years. The magistrate wasn't convinced, saying the violence was so extreme he needed to stay behind bars. He'll be back in court in December. Natasha Squarey, 7 News.
The man accused of last year's stabbing rampage in the city that claimed the life of a young woman faced court again today. Myrtney's lawyer is negotiating a plea deal over some of the charges, which include murder.
The DPP, the prosecution, they've made an offer. We need to consider that offer, so the matter's been adjourned for 2 weeks.
The case will be back in court on October the 27th. Too many parents are struggling with the cost of childcare, with new data showing average fee increases are double inflation. But the federal government is rejecting calls to boost the childcare subsidy, insisting it's working to put downward pressure on prices.
Just like the children covered by them in centres around Australia,
well, you're a good climber, aren't you?
Childcare fees are climbing too. The latest data pre-pandemic showing in the year to March, childcare fees rose 4.4%, double the rate of inflation.
Fees continue to increase and have continued to increase.
They were frozen for several months during the height of the pandemic, now resetting.
They're still below the 10-year average for childcare fees.
In the year to March, the average hourly fees rose to $10.50 in Victoria, $10.20 in New South Wales, Queensland $9.15, South Australia $9.40 and WA $10.30, the highest in the ACT $11.30.
We would like to see the government increase the childcare subsidy by 10 to 15%.
Doing that would encourage more women back to work and into their own businesses.
They'd be growing those businesses and they'd be employing more Australians.
Labor's now promising to increase the subsidy and remove the income test, extending it even to the very rich.
they'll be providing up to $20,000 a year for those earning over $360,000.
The good news, with rents and other overheads down,
what we're likely to see as we come out of COVID-19 hopefully will be very much a stabilisation of costs.
Hopefully putting rises on the slide. Mark Riley, 7 News.
Sydney's next mega road tunnel, the North Connects, is finally set to open in just a couple of weeks, taking traffic off Pennant Hills Road. Safety tests on the $4 billion project are nearly complete, with drivers being given instructions on how entrances and exits will operate.
After months of delays, today the how-to guide for drivers as Transport for New South Wales gets ready to finally open North Connects.
We just need a couple more weeks and then we'll be operating.
Motoring groups certainly welcome the news, with concerns the long overdue project must be finished before Christmas.
Any project like this, you want it opened yesterday, but you also want to make sure it works properly. As long as it's opened in time for that critical period in December when so many people go away.
From the North Connects website, this video gives drivers a first-hand perspective of what they can expect, taking the on and off ramps at either end of the 9-kilometre tunnel, taking them from the M2 all the way to the M1.
What we don't want people to do is suddenly realise they're in the wrong lane and cut across. So there's an opportunity to see it for real.
On the key question of why the delay now, no one would be drawn on concerns of significant problems with the control centre.
We're very close, and systems integration is a really important part. And make sure we do every single test scenario to ensure we get this right.
On the surface, another significant change with heavy vehicles forced into the tunnel. We'll have a truck-free Pennant Hills Road. Not that truck drivers are happy about the toll.
Trucks will be able to get their goods and services delivered more quickly.
Evan Batten, 7 News.
At least one person is dead after a building under construction collapsed at a Perth university late this afternoon. Several others on the Curtin University site were hurt. It appears a glass ceiling has fallen, crushing at least one construction vehicle. Investigators are now on the scene of the 5-storey building. Barely a week out of hospital, and Donald Trump was back in his element today in front of a packed rally full of supporters. His doctors have confirmed he's had multiple negative tests, but the president is still claiming he's now immune, offering to kiss the entire crowd to prove it.
Sheltering under an umbrella, but out of the White House COVID storm. Into the warm embrace of the Sunshine State. A rally after recovery, declaring his virus defeated.
I feel so powerful. I'll walk into that audience. I'll walk in there, I'll kiss everyone in that audience. I'll kiss the guys and the beautiful women and everybody. I'll just give you a big fat kiss.
The campaign kickstart 22 days out. His radical experimental COVID treatment promised to supporters as cases begin to climb.
We are going to take whatever the hell they gave me and we're going to distribute it around to hospitals.
The crowd shoulder to shoulder and many unmasked, having slept overnight to listen to 62 minutes of Trump, re-energised and defiant.
When you're the president, you can't lock yourself in a basement and say, I'm not going to bother with the world. You got to get out.
A pitch to reopen the state to tourists, refuse lockdowns and save them from his political rivals.
Biden had a bad day, and he said today he's a proud Democrat running for the U.S. Senate.
Seizing on Biden's slip-up.
I'm running as a proud Democrat for the Senate when I ran as a proud Democrat for Vice President. And I'm running as a proud Democrat for president.
Having overcome the virus, Donald Trump is now in the fight of his political life. He won this state by a narrow margin in 2016, and tonight he's banking on FaceTime with the faithful to help get him over the line again.
I'm pretty close to his age, so I know I can make it.
I'm not concerned about his health. I just want to give him support.
So get your friends, get your family, get your neighbours and get out and vote.
In Sanford, Florida, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
Now with a check on our weather, it's David Brown's turn. And David, it's been a spectacular day.
Yes, indeed, Fergo. But right now we've got a bit of a cool southerly wind change on the way, and it is approaching from the Shire as we go to air. We're expecting cloudy conditions tomorrow and somewhat cooler conditions. But at the moment, well, over our city, we've got clear blue sky. It's sitting on 22 degrees. Around the state, well, it's been a mostly sunny day. Of course, this is the southerly change we're keeping an eye on. It's pushing all the way up towards the central coast. The latest timing has the southerly pushing through Avalon probably a little after 7 o'clock this evening. Should average around 30 to 50 kilometres per hour just over coastal areas. And of course, the next stop is the central coast. But look, having said that, look, we are expecting a few showers and the odd storm to pop up during, well, Friday, and we might see a little bit of patchy rain just following through across the weekend as well. And of course, I'll have a detailed forecast top of the hour, Fergo.
Righto, Brownie, thank you. A man has caught home invaders in the act during a late-night break-in. Next, chased away and tackled the dramatic front-yard confrontation. A council worker stabbed his colleague jailed. How workplace bullying triggered the attack. The claws are out. A hiker's terrifying encounter with an angry cougar. How he survives. Kanye West's presidential hopes head south. See his bizarre campaign video. And in sport, Latrell thinking the injured South superstar's big role in their title bid.
7 News brought to you by Industry Super Funds.
We're working on something bigger than we've ever done before. It's bigger than this, and this, and even this. We're creating over 200,000 jobs by investing in Australia. That'll help get our super and the economy growing again. And if you're with one of these, you're a big part of it.
Help each other!
Doing this for my family and to show my kids that it's not just Daddy who is tough and strong.
This is very real for us. The reason why we can't sleep with our families in our beds nice and warm is because of people that can do this job.
Doing this for my boys.
I'm not just the mum that packs their lunches.
Above your head!
I'm so much more than that.
Who has the strength to go the whole way?
SAS Australia starts Monday 7:30.
The Australian Government is extending the temporary JobKeeper payment to the end of March 2021. From the 28th of September, businesses must meet the turnover test and submit their declarations by the 14th of each month. There will be 2 new payment rates based on average hours worked, and employee eligibility date changes mean some businesses could claim for more staff. It's part of our plan to keep business in business and Australians in jobs. For more information, visit australia.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
It's time to reboot 2020. To hit the road. Swap your indoors for the great outdoors. Love caravan and camping? Love New South Wales.
You can't go past IGA for hundreds of low prices right across the store. Like Clairol Nice and Easy 1-pack varieties $9 and Palmolive Natural Shampoo or Conditioner 350ml varieties $4. Low prices at your local IGA.
Oh, poetry in motion. The best place to catch an NRL sang.
Welcome back. 4 intruders have fled a Brighton Le Sands home after they were caught red-handed breaking into a backyard shed. A resident in the home went outside and grabbed one of the men, but he got away early on Saturday morning. Police are investigating. A Sydney City garbage collector who attacked a workmate has been jailed for more than 3 years. His victim was stabbed multiple times in the face and was left with permanent injuries. The attacker blamed workplace bullying for his actions, but the judge said he has serious anger issues.
Slashed close to a dozen times, Nathan Peters wasn't expected to survive, but he did, with the support of his family.
How is your son doing? Terrible. What do you think? He had his tongue severed.
A blade penetrated his cheek when he was attacked by Matthew Wright, a work colleague at the City of Sydney Council depot in Alexandria. This conduct was not planned, the judge said. Wright approached him in a cowardly manner and the victim had no opportunity to defend himself. Both garbage collectors, the court was told Nathan Peters, had been tormenting his attacker for weeks. He was subjected to workplace taunting and bullying, and the victim didn't comprehend his comments. Wright armed himself with a knife and stabbed Peters in the face, neck and torso. "I'm going to die. Help me, the victim screamed. "I told you, I warned you," the offender responded. The judge accepted Matthew Wright's apology wasn't self-serving, that he's genuinely remorseful for what happened that day. But she advised him to seek help because he clearly has issues controlling his anger. She sentenced Wright to 3 years and 9 months jail.
What do you think of the sentence? That's what it is.
He'll be eligible for parole in 2023. Leonie Ryan, 7 News.
Frustrated Londoners have ignored their COVID curfew, breaking out a game of high street cricket as they poured out of pubs that now shut at 10 p.m. They'd left before police arrived, but their PM is cracking down. Boris Johnson has now carved Britain into 3 COVID risk categories, putting 17 million people in the 2 highest, meaning stricter lockdowns as the number of cases soar.
These figures are flashing at us like dashboard warnings in a passenger jet, and we must act now.
Britain's cases have quadrupled in the past 4 weeks. A hiker has recorded 6 heart-stopping minutes while being stalked by a protective cougar in Utah.
Go away! No! No! Holy, come on, dude. I don't feel like dying today.
He had stumbled across her cubs on his walk and ended up in a terrifying retreat until Mum decided he was far enough away and gave up. Rapper Kanye West has released his first campaign ad in his very optimistic bid to become US president, focusing on family and faith.
By turning to faith, we will be the kind of nation, the kind of people God intends us to be.
43-year-old West is on the official ballot in a handful of states, but mathematically has no chance of winning. There's a radical new plan to drive down smoking numbers in Australia. Next, should smokers need a prescription to buy cigarettes? A Vatican reunion, George Pell meets the Pope after walking free from jail. A big bank hands out big pay hikes, but why workers are not happy. And holiday here this year, the new homegrown tourism push. Which locations are on the list? That's later.
Bring on the fashion. Bring on the colour.
Bring on the bubble.
Get ready for a spring like no other.
Shouting at the end wins the Everest.
All the big events are all right here on 7.
Oh, beautifully done. As good as it gets. What a defining moment.
And then the history-making grand final. Under lights at the Gabba.
It's the biggest party of the year.
Come celebrate with us.
It's a spring like no other. And it's all here on 7. Bring it on.
The Art of Living sale ends soon. For a limited time, save up to 50% on the award-winning iconic Jasper sofa.
So why buy ordinary furniture when you can come home to King Furniture?
Sale ends soon.
Oh, call me Master Chief.
We've made changes for the next-gen heroes.
Yes.
Pre-order the new Xbox Series X with Xbox All Access, exclusive to Telstra.
God says hi.
Let us entertain you with more live sky racing and US Sport Vision. Anytime, anywhere. Make a date with the edge of your seat this spring. Tab. Long may we play.
Got Manshake? Get expert advice on your weight loss goals at your local Terry White Chemmart. The Manshake
and the Lady Shake
at Terry White Chemmart. Now that's real chemistry.
What makes Nature's Way Adult Vita Gummies seriously good?
Is it their multivitamin with key vitamins, minerals and nutrients? Or 99% sugar-free calcium with vitamin D for strong bones, teeth and muscle health? Maybe it's their hair, skin and nails Vita Gummies to support collagen production. Or maybe the delicious flavour. For your daily health boost, choose Nature's Way Adult Vita Gummies. They're seriously good.
You never want to take off the perfect shoe. At The Athlete's Foot, we believe in fit. Get fitted your way. Safely install with MyFit 3D or online with MyFit Virtual. We make it easy. The Athlete's Foot. Now that's fit.
Optus knows family life can be complicated. That's why you can share a massive 250 gigs across 4 SIMs per month with the Optus Family Plan. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
In breaking news, police are hunting a thief who broke into a home at Palm Beach and robbed the owners while they were sleeping. Andrew Denny is at Sydney Police Centre for us at Surrey Hills tonight. Andrew, officers say they got away with something very valuable.
Well, very valuable for the owner, Mark, but not really for anyone else. This was a terrifying robbery for the Scotts family at the weekend. It was somewhere between Friday night and Saturday morning when a thief broke into their home while they were asleep. Luckily, Richard Scotts, his wife and children were uninjured, but the thief got away with a large number of electronic items, including a number of hard drives. Now, it was what was on those hard drives that is of greatest concern. Richard Scotts is a respected film and television producer. He's been working from home during that COVID crisis, and on those hard drives was 3 years' worth of his master copies and backups of his work. He says it is worth a small fortune to him, but really nothing to anyone else. Police have, of course, launched their own investigation, but he simply wants them back, no questions asked, and says the physical hard drives themselves really have no value to anyone outside the production industry.
OK, Andrew Denny at Surrey Hills, thank you. A police initiative targeting people at risk of offending or re-offending appears to be working. It has significantly reduced domestic violence and property crime. But it's not without its critics who claim vulnerable people will be more at risk if expansion plans go ahead.
Busted somewhere he shouldn't be.
I just want to let you know there's a warrant out for your arrest at the moment.
The 22-year-old had been ordered to stay away from this home. That's why he was put on the suspect target management plan, a police blacklist of high-risk offenders.
Increased reporting, increased review, increased efforts by senior officers to make sure that we are targeting the right people.
And age is no limit.
We're going to see an 82-year-old male. He's got 2 current AVOs.
Which is breached 15 times.
You've been in trouble a fair bit, haven't you?
Police are now looking to broaden the program, monitoring more criminals around the clock.
Surprisingly, we find there are a lot of people out there that when police sit down and talk to them, when they bring other agencies in, that they are simply looking for that circuit breaker.
During their first year on the police list, the likelihood of an offender committing an act of domestic violence dropped to 43%. New property crimes were reduced by 16%, and for young people, re-offending went down 24%. Thousands of high-risk offenders are about to be added to this watch list, with the new program being rolled out across the state next month. They're being put on notice to expect police at their door at any moment.
This is an extremely aggressive form of policing that we know massively over-targets First Nations people.
Despite the concerns, police say the benefit is clear: less crime. Ashley Hansen, 7 News.
Cardinal George Pell has met with Pope Francis for the first time since his child sex abuse conviction was overturned. In a rare move, the Vatican released video of the reception, a clear sign the pair wanted to be seen.
A private meeting publicised to the world. Cardinal Pell warmly welcomed back by Pope Francis after his child sex abuse conviction and acquittal.
Grazie a lei, Santo Padre. Grazie a lei. Grazie della testimonianza. Più di un anno
A reference, believe many, to the 13 months Pell spent behind bars. The 79-year-old returned to Rome almost a fortnight ago, arriving during a financial scandal with allegations one of Pell's enemies sent Vatican money to Australia to influence his trial.
These are things that should be easily traceable. If the Pope wanted to throw fuel on this fire, they couldn't have done a better thing than what they did today.
The high-profile 30-minute reception devoid of any COVID precautions, no masks, no distancing, as the Vatican revealed 4 Swiss guards in charge of protecting the 83-year-old pontiff are isolating after testing positive. Over the past week, Italy has seen a surge in coronavirus cases, especially in the region around the Vatican. Masks are now mandatory, even outdoors, but officials didn't respond when asked why the Pope isn't wearing one.
People are trying to understand what's going on. Some have surmised that maybe the Pope has already been infected and he's immune now. There are a lot of concerns at the Vatican, but we are dealing with an absolute monarchy
whose leader answers to no one. In London, Sarah Greenolch, 7 News.
With tobacco use blamed for 1 in 7 Australian deaths, researchers are calling for harsh anti-smoking measures, including cutting the number of retailers, stopping cigarette supply to those born after a certain year and making them prescription only.
It's a bit ridiculous at the moment that we have Australia's most lethal product available at supermarkets.
But civil libertarians argue such strict measures are a form of prohibition which is unlikely to work. The Commonwealth Bank has been forced to justify handing out big bonuses during a protest vote over executive pay. The bank insists its chief executive is one of the Big Four's lowest paid, but CBA employees say they've been left feeling worthless.
Commonwealth Bank shareholders usually come from far and wide for its annual meeting, not this year.
The fact that we're meeting virtually today shows just how much and how quickly things can change.
But some things remain, like battles over pay. In 2016, half of CommBank shareholders rejected its pay proposals. This year, 21%. The proposals including $1.6 million in restricted shares and a 14% pay hike for CEO Matt Comyn. With protest votes just below 25%, they passed.
We think Matt is an excellent CEO. He's a banker through and through.
A hard-working boss leading thousands of hard-working staff.
The bank has been able to move at great pace and provide extensive support, thanks to the dedication of our people.
But their pay rises between 0 and 2%.
It is very disappointing that the current pay offer fails to really recognise the hard work and the dedication of its staff.
Chairman, we have received a number of questions on this issue.
Why aren't our contributions worthy of the same 3% increases?
I deserve a modest 3% increase.
Surely the staff deserve more. Consider decreasing the CEO's share grant.
This makes me feel worthless.
Ms Livingstone also said the bank hopes to boost its dividend again after cutting it this year to meet regulator guidelines. But she added it was still too soon to say when that would happen. Gemma Acton, 7 News.
A new app is aiming to protect sports stars from themselves, monitoring their social media. Next, how a former NRL bad boy is helping today's young players. Overcome with emotion, Kim Jong-un choked up what had the dictator wiping away tears.
Soon in sport, secrets to South's success. Hear from the Rabbitohs revelation, whose top priority is putting the team first.
What a day. Cool and cloudy tomorrow. Your forecast soon.
I was trapped in the life I had until I worked it out, died, or was locked up. It's made me who I am, and I'm starting to like who I am.
The movie that broke Aussie box office records. Jimmy Barnes, Working Class Boy. Tonight, 7:30 on 7.
It lives at first light. Wherever we push ourselves. When we pull together. It lives over the door. At the end of every paintbrush. After the sun has set. It lives in going for a 6, where a 4 would have done it. It lives in every square inch of this place. And because we live here, Can lives here.
When frequent heartburn kept waking me up at night, enough was enough. So I tried Nexium 24-hour.
Unlike antacids that often require multiple doses per day, Nexium 24-hour is better. Just 1 tablet a day can provide 24-hour protection. Live life less interrupted.
When you cook, you make love to everybody.
That's what Italian food is. Love and sauce. You got to start with the best. Have you eaten?
You're not dead, you're at there. We've made changes for gamers and their sidekicks. Pre-order the new Xbox Series S with Xbox All Access, exclusive to Telstra.
Just right fusion. Crunchy granola.
And crispy cereal.
Delicious.
It's delicious. What a combination.
Make a date with memories at the Tab Everest, the richest race on turf. Saturday 17th of October, Royal Randwick.
At Terry White Chemmart, get real deals on trusted brands like Nurofen, Dermaveen soap-free wash and Blackmore's Biomagnesium. Shop in-store or online. Real value every day at Terry White Chemmart.
The ASX has recorded its best 7-day winning streak in more than 11 years and hit a 7-month high, finishing the day 64 points up. The major banks led the charge. Telstra shares also surged after the company committed to a 16-cent dividend. And our dollar is buying close to 72 US cents. The price of unleaded is falling across Sydney, averaging $1.33.3 a litre, but there are savings across the city. We've seen it for less than $1.05 at Marrickville. His footy career was derailed by off-field drama. Now Todd Carney has set his sights on saving others from making the same mistakes. The former NRL star turned concreter, launching a social media platform to help players and protect the game he still loves.
Todd Carney flourished on the field but struggled off it. In 2014, his infamous bubbler photo was posted online and ended his NRL career.
It spread on social media because that's what happens when something gets on social media. It spreads like wildfire.
Now he's teamed up with best mate Mitch McAuliffe to help today's young players.
He approached us with an idea, making it a bit safer for players to put up a post on social media, which would give them a buffer with a manager giving approval or declining the post before it uploads.
Helping to avoid headlines like Josh Addo-Carr and Latrell Mitchell's gun charges, Nathan Cleary's COVID breach, and a long list of sex tape scandals.
It's not that we need to be babysat, but I feel that if we've got someone looking over what players post and what they sort of put on social media, we'll eliminate the stupid things that do go online.
Look, it reinforces what we're teaching them in the education program or asking them to reflect on, which is take a breath. Anything that allows that kind of reflection and that pause is a good thing.
Todd and Mitch say players will be able to opt out of the app if they think their speech is being too heavily policed, but they also want to see it written into player contracts as soon as next year.
I owe it to the game to try and teach kids of today.
And this time, Carney could be onto a winner. Tom Saker, 7 News.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has cried while speaking at a military parade in Pyongyang. In a rare apology, the 36-year-old said sorry for his failure in leading the country through difficult times. Kim continued to deny North Korea has any COVID cases, saying he was thankful for that. There's a fresh push to encourage Australians to holiday at home in a bid to boost tourism dollars, from surfing in Byron to wine tasting in the Barossa. But as the border battles continue, is it wise to book now? Don't miss that story soon in 7 News. But now Mel is here with sport, and Mel, it'll be hard to pick a winner on the track and at the footy finals this weekend.
Fergo, what a massive weekend. The NRL Final Four are all oozing confidence ahead of their grand final qualifiers. Details up next, plus a huge inclusion for the Storm for their clash with the Raiders, and why an injured Latrell Mitchell is still key for the Bunnies. And live to Peter V'landys at a spectacular Everest barrier draw.
The Art of Living sale ends soon. For a limited time, save up to 50% on the best in Australian indoor and outdoor furniture design.
So why buy ordinary furniture when you can come home to King Furniture?
Sale ends soon.
What if you're missing information about meningococcal disease, a rare but potentially deadly and devastating illness, most common in infants and adolescents? Speak to your doctor for more information about meningococcal disease, because missing information could mean missing out on a whole lot more.
Show me the one safety deemed such destruction. You must reunite it with its own kind.
You expect me to search the galaxy and deliver this creature to a race of enemy sorcerers?
This is the way.
The Mandalorian. New season streaming October 30 on Disney+.
As a Lexus Encore member, we'll loan you a car when we're servicing yours and invite you to exclusive events, giving you the luxury of time. Welcome to Lexus Encore, our owner benefits program.
Perfect Italiano is perfect for that. Perfect Italiano is perfect for that. And Perfect Italiano is perfect for that, and that. Not so good for that. But for a delicious meal every time, Perfect Italiano is perfect for that.
Create your own retreat at home with a Mimosa Portsea gazebo. With an adjustable waterproof roof and a 3-year warranty, it's available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Good evening. A great time to go dodo, because it always is. See, we're an energy company that chips in for your internet, with unlimited NBN plans now from just $55 a month when you combine with energy. TimeToGoDodo.com.
Make a date with memories at the Tab Everest, the richest race on turf. Saturday 17th of October, Royal Randwick.
Did someone say KFC?
This sports report brought to you by KFC. Get your KFC contact-free today.
Welcome back. The Storm have named Cameron Munster as the NRL's Final Four. All say this shot at the title is just too good to waste. Souths are playing for third time lucky in the prelim final against Penrith. Latrell Mitchell's not playing, but still playing a key role.
To come this close and fall short 3 years in a row would be so cruel for Souths.
It's something that I've been obviously, probably working towards my whole life, but even more so, it's kind of the reality has kind of exposed itself the last couple of years.
Cameron Murray hopes the experience of 2 prelims gives them something over these 16 in a row winning Panthers.
I'm not sure what Penrith will be experiencing. I'm sure there's a lot of confidence running through that organisation, and so it should be.
Russell Crowe hasn't appeared yet.
I'd be starstruck if he did. If you wanted to send me a little video, Russell.
But from outside the bubble, the injured Latrell Mitchell's mentoring his understudy. Corey Allen's a revelation, but this is an insight into what this team's all about.
Obviously, I love fullback, but I love this team more. The boys are amazing here, and I don't really want to think about the future.
The Storm haven't spent months away from home to blow it now.
We've come this far. We really are motivated to finish the job off now and go all the way.
With the knee just holding together, Cameron Munster proved his fitness at training. Then in the grand final of the Storm's table tennis tournament, he lost to Nico Hines.
I think he blamed his knee last night, but there's nothing wrong with it. He's been training with us, so he's great to have, and he's a massive weapon of ours.
And they'll need him against the Green Machine.
That just really gave us a little bit more confidence and belief. I mean, beating the Roosters in a big game.
We're definitely up there now with the best teams in the competition.
For the record, if Melbourne lose, still no word from Cameron Smith on retirement. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
We had the very sad news today that Winx has lost her first foal. The champion mare was due to give birth this month and the foal was expected to break all records at sale. Winx's trainer Chris Waller revealed the news after preparing his out-of-form race horse of the year for Saturday's $15 million Everest.
3 months ago, obviously Nature Strip was a clear favourite, and I admit that he's not now, but we know that he's the right type of horse to bounce back.
Waller had a second runner, Haute Brion Her, added for the world's richest race on turf. And tonight's barrier draw has gone to great heights. Live to Michelle Bishop now, who's perched on Sydney Tower with a very busy man, Shell.
Good evening, Mel. Busy is an understatement. I'm joined by Peter V'landys. Now, Pete, you steered us through the NRL and racing right throughout COVID, and there's an easing of restrictions just in time for the Everest on Saturday at Royal Randwick.
Yeah, look, we're very appreciative of the New South Wales government. They've allowed us to have 11,000 people at Randwick on Saturday, but also there's base camps, Everest base camps, all around different hotels in Sydney. So if you can't get to Randwick on Saturday, get to one of those base camps, and there's a lot of prizes, etc., that people can win.
So we've had the Harbour Bridge, we've had the Opera House. What have you got in store tonight for the all-important barrier draw for the race?
Tonight it's the Skywalk here at Sydney Tower, which has got one of the best views of Sydney you've ever seen. So I'm not going up there, Michelle, because there's not enough harnesses. I think I just might stay down here. But look, the Skywalk is another feature of Sydney. What we do with the barrier draw is we promote Sydney. We promoted the Opera House, the Harbour Bridge, and tonight it's Sydney Tower.
Well, thank you very much for your time and good luck on the weekend. And yeah, all eyes will be on Sydney. It's one of the biggest days on the racing calendar. The $15 million sprint, the Everest, on Saturday at Royal Randwick.
Yep, they don't do things by halves when the Everest is involved. Thank you to Michelle Bishop there and Peter V'landys. Well, just in time for a visit to Eden Park. David Campese's fired up the Kiwis with claims the All Blacks have lost their aura and are in trouble. The Wallabies politely disagree, expecting backlash for the first test draw.
We expect we'll get a reaction out of them. They're a very good team and have shown that for a long time, so no.
Next month's Rugby Championship remains under threat as the Springboks consider a boycott. Preparations are underway for a very different Bathurst 1000. Teams started setting up under strict biosecurity rules today and no camping spectators allowed for Australia's great race. But on the track, Mount Panorama won't change.
I've led the race, I've had car on fire, I've had all sorts of things go on there, but yeah, I feel like I know what it takes to win.
Tributes for Holden's last race will begin tomorrow. It's going to be a massive weekend. Where do you start? The Wallabies, Bathurst, the footy finals, and of course the big one, the Everest on Saturday.
Too much sport is never enough.
Exactly. Well said.
Thank you, Mel. A new campaign is urging Australians to holiday here this year, with hopes for a domestic travel comeback. But the slogan, first used after last summer's bushfires, isn't entirely possible at the moment due to those interstate border bans.
With global travel at a standstill, a new campaign is encouraging a staycation instead.
So, I need a holiday.
Do you?
Yeah, for Australia.
Holiday Here this year shows off Australia's best-known holiday spots.
Get out there, maybe do something different and think about going somewhere that you've never been before.
From surfing in Byron Bay to wine tasting in the Barossa Valley or visiting the top end.
We should just go somewhere we've always wanted to go.
While some destinations are available, many others remain off-limits, with Tasmania, Queensland and Western Australia still to reopen their borders.
You can plan and you can potentially book something that is a little bit flexible.
The loss of international travellers is costing Australia $10 billion a month, along with the cancellation of Kylie Minogue's $15 million Mate Song campaign in the UK due to the bushfires. It's been a tough year.
This campaign is about trying to make sure that we save as many jobs as possible.
With international borders closed for the foreseeable future, the $7 million advertising campaign aims to encourage people to travel safely around the country and even book a holiday for the future.
Things are opening up. We're doing well. Keep social distancing, only hug koalas, and you'll be fine.
Samantha Brett, 7 News.
Now here's a look at what's on Sunrise tomorrow.
Thanks, Fergo. When you wake up, the new iPhone will finally be revealed.
After months of rumours, your first look, that's tomorrow on Sunrise. See you in the morning, Sydney.
David is back now. Brownie, stunning today. Where's that cool change?
Fergo, well, it's through the airport and it's right over the top of the CBD. Local forecast straight after the break.
I think he did it. The sooner I can catch that guy, the sooner we can get out of him. He's up to his eyeballs in this murder.
Do you really think that he's involved?
Tell me it isn't true. Tell me he didn't do it.
Did I do it? What evidence does he think he has?
This is not a happily ever after scenario.
The guy thinks he can get away with murder.
Home and Away, this week at 7 on 7.
Bag a bargain at Chemist Warehouse with our amazing October catalogue sale on now. Wellgrove Immune Support Olive Leaf Extract 500ml, $22.50. Healthy Care Wild Krill Oil 100mg, 60 capsules, $17.99. Dermaveen Gentle Wash or Moisturising Lotion 1 litre, $15.99. And any Andalou Edge Defying Favourites from $14.99. Shop in-store, online or call your local store to arrange contact-free delivery. Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Calamari.
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 Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare iced coffee.
I heard one sign from above.
Voce Viva, the new fragrance, Valentino.
Discover your signature scent.
I am my store.
You remember I'm picking Bex up from school, right?
The JCR's due Friday, so...
Which font should we
Are you
use?
going to video chat this weekend? Your dad and I'd love to see the kid.
He's in...
So can we go outside?
screen share at the...
We could go to this place after.
That's all right.
Chili.
A little bit of chili, a little bit of turmeric.
Classic hits to carry you through the night.
Dinner's up.
Oh, no. Hi, everybody. So good. Best dinner yet.
Is that your dog?
It's the neighbour's dog. Will my insurance cover this?
Budget Direct would have provided you with temporary accommodation for up to a year while they repaired it.
Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
On one hand, using mobile data and internet reduces Australia's carbon footprint by reducing travel and making business more efficient. But their use also creates CO2, and your carbon thumbprint may be something you have never even considered. Well, there is a solution. Belong. Carbon neutral, mobile and internet.
This weather report is brought to you by Belong, carbon neutral, mobile and internet.
School's back, and so are drug-resistant super lice. The new strain, not just spreading through direct contact. How to treat it. 7 News at 6.
Tonight, 7 News headlines. Premier Gladys Berejiklian is facing the fallout over her secret romance scandal, saying she's done nothing wrong and refusing to quit. There's been a COVID testing rush in our southwest after 2 doctors from a Lakemba clinic became infected. But restrictions will be relaxed from Friday for outdoor venues and events. And pictures just in from Perth, a police chase has ended in a fiery head-on crash. The offender has been arrested. A woman in the car that was hit was not seriously injured. Now, the latest on our weather, here's David.
Thanks very much, Fergo. Well, a cool southerly breeze is gradually making its way across the Sydney basin this evening, expecting cloudy conditions tomorrow, and we might even see the odd drop of drizzle. But it was warm today. In fact, the maximum temperature, you'll notice, peaked at around, well, 28.8 degrees. That happened soon after midday, ahead of the onset of the sea breeze. That's why the temperature dropped, and of course continues to fall now as the cooler air mass gradually fills the basin. It's been a warmer day inland. Most centres, as you can see, reached the low 30s. That'll happen under a clear blue sky. We're keeping an eye on this trough that's moving through at the moment, producing that cool southerly. Check out the storms that have continued up through the northeast corner today. Most of that action has been over across the border through Queensland. The southerly change is producing cloudy conditions to the south of us at the moment, and we are expecting cloudy conditions to linger along large parts of the coastal fringe tomorrow. Different story inland. In fact, we'll see dry and generally sunny conditions, although some high cloud is expected to build across the upper northwest during the second half of the day. But let's move on to our forecast now for the capitals tomorrow. It's warming up in Melbourne under northeasterly airstream, around 24 degrees tomorrow. Should be a beautiful day, plenty of sunshine. Brisbane too, expecting a warm, mostly sunny day, around 26 degrees. Warmer through the tropical north. Darwin, clear skies, around 34 degrees. City of Churches, Adelaide tomorrow, dry and a maximum around about, 31 degrees. For us, dry, generally sunny, westerly Great Dividing Range. As I mentioned earlier, just low cloud building up, mainly over the central and southern coastal areas. The odd drop of drizzle is possible, and of course that includes our backyard. There's the forecast maximums for tomorrow, ranging from around about 19 degrees, places like Manly and Bondi, gradually increasing to around 23 degrees as we head inland. Winds, not much as far as wind speed goes. In fact, let's have a look at the coastal waters forecast. There it is, southeast to easterlies, getting up to around 10 knots at best, so slight seas throughout the day. And for the city, cloudy, a little bit of drizzle is possible, especially during the morning. Should be fine during the afternoon, 22 degrees. As for the next 7 days, there it is on your screen. Warmer on Thursday, Friday change coming through. At this stage for the weekend, it's unsettled. It'll be a little humid and cloudy with some rain from time to time. So cloudy 22 tomorrow, Fergo.
Righto, Brandy, thanking you. That is 7 News for this Tuesday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening and the latest from 11. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.